What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I have been looking, as we've talked about, amidst of all the things that had happened, into other TTRPGs outside of just Dungeons and Dragons. Though you'll still see Dungeons and Dragons stuff here on the channel from time to time, as you know, need and want occurs. But I picked up the Pathfinder 2E beginner box set, and I thought it would be cool to take a look. Now, I've done a handful of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition starter set unboxings, whether it was the original starter set with Lost Minds of Phandelver, the Essentials kit, the updated starter set with Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, the Rick and Morty starter set, the what was the other one? The Stranger Things starter set. So I've done a handful of them, and I thought I would unbox this Pathfinder one and see how it compares. Now, what do we look for in a starter set as a general rule? I would say you want, obviously, the base rules of the game, whatever it's going to allow you to play the game, right? Because in theory, when you pick up a starter set for any game, you should be able to just pick that up and then go play, right? That's kind of what happens. So depending on the type of game, it might need dice. More than likely it will, as it's an RPG of some kind. So whether that's a set of polyhedral dice, maybe D6s, D10s, depending on the system that you're using, an adventure of some kind for whoever's going to be running the game to run for you. And then really character sheets. That's kind of the base of what I would say a beginner box or a starter box would require. The rules, enough to be able, you don't need necessarily all of the rules, but enough of them to play the game. And then an adventure, which would also include like stat blocks for the monsters, so that the dungeon master, game master, whatever they're called, will have an opportunity to play the game and throw things at you. Character sheets, so you have something to write on, and then realistically a set of dice, and that should be it. Also, want to say that this is probably going to will be the start of a series of me kind of unboxing starter sets from a variety of different companies just to show you what you get. You know, if you're looking to jump into Call of Cthulhu or Zweihander or Pathfinder or I don't know, one of the thousands of other RPGs out there. If they have a beginner box, I'm going out of my way to purchase it. So far, they've all been purchased with my own money. Maybe if other companies see this series and want to jump in on it, by all means. But let's go ahead. I took the plastic off, but that's the extent of it. I was also lucky enough to be able to find one of these guys at my local game store. So take the lid off. We've got nice art here on the front of a party fighting a green dragon. So first thing I see is a set of polyhedral dice. Now, it is a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and a D20. So no percentile. I don't know if percentile is needed for Pathfinder. They also went kind of the old school D&D route of each one is a separate color. And that's a good idea because you can tell people when they're just playing, like, hey, I need you to make me a reflex saving throw or whatever it might be. And they say, what is that? You say, roll the red one. They pick the red die and they roll it. And that kind of helps you along. Okay. Looks like we have bases, like pawn bases. We have a bunch of black ones and a green one of different sizes. We have mostly what look like smaller, medium-sized creatures and one large-size creature. Okay. Oh, and here's our little piece of paper that tells us what's inside. Okay. Pathfinder Beginner Box components. We have the Hero's Handbook, which is going to be our intro rules, the Game Master's Guide, 6 polyhedral dice, 6 blank character sheets, 4 pre-generated character sheets, a double-sided flip map, 4 quick player reference cards, 124 character and monster pawns, which is huge, and then the bases. So this is pretty solid. This kind of, at least in my opinion, beats out what we typically get on like a Wizards of the Coast side of things. So we have these nice, I think you can hear that, highly laminated player reference cards. And what it shows you here, they're all the same. Kind of what you can do on your turn. So it says checks is a d20 plus a statistic. And then has you kind of compare, it tells you what a critical success is, success, critical failure, and a failure. Rolling a 20 or a 1, how a DC is set. and then it shows you the different actions and reactions mechanics on your turn. Now, Pathfinder is a 3-action system, and it kind of has the spot for your 3 actions and then your reactions. So this, I guess you could mark, says you can use these basic actions, any other as on page 65 of the Hero's Handbook, which is in here, and any from your class. Speaking or dropping something doesn't take an action. And it lists, right? Drop, prone, interact, leap, seek, stand, step, stride, strike. Those are all listed here, and they kind of show you the little action symbol. So in theory, you could have a stamp or a dry erase marker, just check, check, check as you go along. And then your conditions are contained on the back. We have concealed, flat-footed, frightened, grabbed, persistent damage, prone, restrained, slowed, unconscious, and wounded. The thought process is, oh, there's actually five of these. So in theory, if you had 5 players, each player could get one, or the DM or Game Master, whatever they're called for Pathfinder, could have one behind the desk. Game Master for Pathfinder. Keep that so you have a quick reference guide. These are really nice. I like that. Oh, actually, I like. There's a 6th one. So there we go. We have... Okay. Is this just one? No. Okay. Okay. So... I gotta give them credit. This is a pre-generated character sheet. It is 11 by 17. And it is all done up. So we have Valeros the fighter here. Play a fighter if you want to. Fight on the front lines. Use the best weapons and armor. React quickly to enemy actions. Then we have an entire backstory of our character on the back half of the sheet. And then in the inside, we have all of the player character things. It even shows you the different dice with the different colors. So if something says a D8, you can look over here and say, okay, the D8 is the yellow or the orange one. It shows you all your different actions and all your mechanics. And then, so this is kind of your base, your statistics of your character sheet. And then again, it kind of shows you what all the things are. It kind of labels each one of the areas, right? A is your ancestry, B is your background, C is your class, ability modifiers, hit points, and so on. And that has its equipment and everything listed. So you have that if you want to play a fighter. Next up, we have... Oh boy, I'm going to butcher her name. We'll go with Mareciel the Rogue. Play a rogue if you want to sneak up on foes to deal more damage, steal things without being seen, and excel at a variety of skills. And then a similar fashion, we have her information on the back, and then her character sheet on the inside. Kyra the Cleric. Play a cleric if you want to support and heal your allies with divine spells, know about religious writings and images, oppose and destroy evil undead creatures. And then lastly here, Ezrin the Wizard. Play wizard if you want to cast spells to devastate foes and protect allies, know secrets about magic and ancient lore, solve problems with your magic. Next up, we have a pretty substantial... And this is not... This is... I'm going to tell you, this is better. This is actually bound, whereas like a lot of the ones, again, from the Dungeons and Dragons ones are stapled. This is an actual booklet. This is the Beginner's Box Hero's Handbook. This comes out to 73 full-color pages. And then within, what do we have? We have Dwarf, Elf, and Human Ancestries. We have Cleric, Fighter, Rogue, Wizard. And then that's pretty much it. So, like, again, the same things we have in the pre-gen characters, but we have, you know, a sample if you want to make your own and not play one of those existing ones. I guess you might also have, I don't know if you'll have things like feats and whatnot in here, but you have lists of spells up to 2nd level. Then we also have a fair few, you know, that's a decent amount of blank character sheets. These are printed on a nice heavyweight paper, and they are double-sided. So here's your base sheet, and then you have kind of the back as well. The front has, again, most statistics. This has equipment, portrait, adventure logs, spells for characters who have spells, spell book, and they are all the same. So we have, you know, about 10 blank character sheets printed on a heavyweight paper. We have the Beginner Box Game Master's Guide. Again, another bound book. This one all checks in at 89 pages. And inside this, we have, an adventure. It looks like it'll get you from 1st to 2nd level, at least. We have a whole section here on game mastering, preparing the adventure, character creation, sessions, supplies, exploration, and so on. a little bit about building an adventure, environments and hazards, magic items, creatures, and then a map of the location. So, and this has a holy cow. As far as what? Wow, there's a fair amount of monsters in here, okay? Look at this. Animated armor, basilisk, doppelganger, dragon wormling, drow warrior, drow priestess, elemental, gargoyle, ghost, ghoul, goblin, a couple of different goblins, harpy, hellhound, hobgoblin, kobold, ogre warrior, ooze, orc, a couple of orcs here, owlbear, rat, shadow, skeletons, snakes, spiders, trolls, wights, wolf, some unique monsters, Zolgaths to Pathfinder here, zombies. That's a fair amount of monsters here. Then again, we have like regional information and lore about what the adventure is. This is solid. And like again, this is if you need like a quick reference, this is a decent little book to have. And the back has again some common quick reference guides, almost like a GM screen. And then, okay, yeah, this beats the pants off anything from D&D. We have a map. All right, this is probably tied, I'm assuming, key to the adventure, but it is a full gridded, double-sided map. Look at the size of this thing. This is very clearly like a vinyl type material. I'm sure you could probably put wet or dry erase on the outside of this. Then we have pawns, right? So if you're unfamiliar with the concept of a pawn, that is essentially a little punch-out cardboard piece that you put in one of these little like bases here, and then you can use these if you're going to be representing your characters in combat on a physical map. So we have a handful. We have, what do we have? Four different sheets of pawns. They also have ones here, on my finger here, action, and like over here-ish, reaction. So actually you could punch these out and put them on your quick reference card when you use up an action or your reaction. And yeah, we have multiple options of a variety of different things, right? A bunch of different goblins, owlbear, giant centipede, worm, wormling rather, doppelganger. Okay, here we've got some ones for the characters, right? Cleric female, cleric male, dwarf female, human fighter male. You know, we have for a variety of the different ancestry options as well, right? Human wizard male, human wizard female, elf wizard male, dwarf. So we have a variety of options there. Then again, we have more of the different monsters: kobolds, mimics, hobgoblins, orcs, wolves, trolls, etc. So you have all these, which you have a fair amount of bases. I'm assuming the green is supposed to represent the player character, kind of to give you a little bit of a separation from the monsters, or you could use it for whatever you so choose. But these are nice, and these, again, pawns are kind of flat packed. They're very easy to store in places. And then we have a little extra piece here at the end that says a little bit about Pathfinder Society, which is Pathfinder's organized play, similar to Adventurers League. This is a world of adventure, exploration, and intrigue awaits. Join Pathfinder Society today at pathfindersociety.club. And then it says on the back, the adventure continues. It says, want more Pathfinder? Trouble in Otari. Keep playing the beginner box rules in this anthology of 3 adventures set in Otari and the surrounding region. The adventure starts at 2nd level and can level characters up to 4th using the rules. So the adventure we have gets you to 2nd level. You can take that and continue on. Then they have the core rulebook, the advanced player's guide, the bestiary, and the game master guide. So I was able to pick up, I'm going to say bestiary because that's what I always say. I was able to pick up the bestiary and this beginner box yesterday at my local game store. Retail on this is at least MSRP on the side, $39.99. Sets 60 minutes playtime for 2 to 5 players. Again, ages 13 and up. I was also able to pick up a couple extra books at a local Barnes & Noble today. So the problem is, again, if you missed out, Pathfinder and Paizo sold out of 8 months stock worth of Pathfinder-related products in a 2-week time frame due in the outfall of this whole OGL situation. So anyway, I think we should come up with a scale for rating beginner boxes. This could be a fun thing. So, we're going to come up, should we go? should we go out of 10? How about we go out of 10? All right. A scale from 1 to 10. How does the Pathfinder beginner box stack up? I guess I'm going to say the problem is I haven't opened a lot of these, so I don't have a great reference. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. But I'm putting this on the high scale. I don't know if anything is perfect to consider it a 10. This I'm going to say is probably like a 9. This could be 10. This could be the thing that we use to measure other box sets against, because this gave us everything we need. It not only gave us a sturdy and robust character-based guide as well as something for Dungeon Masters. It also gave you, or Game Master, sorry, Game Master guide that will allow you to go above and beyond. It actually has stuff about just like running the game, not just like the base rules to cover the adventure. It also has an adventure. It gave you these nice quick reference guides, which could be useful for new players or veteran players alike. It gave you pre-generated character sheets that are, super well done in these foldable 11 by 17 that even gives you background on the character itself. You got your set of polyhedral dice that are color coordinated to match the imagery on the character sheets. You got 10 blank character sheets on a high weight paper. You got a nice size double-sided map that can use in the adventure or just a general map to keep around. I mean, I'll probably end up using that in other games that I run just because it's a nice large map. And on top of that, you got all those pawns and the bases, and the price was $39.99. So that is something also to consider, because if we were to compare this with some of like the Dungeons and Dragons ones, those run you about $20, but you get significantly less. So I'd say, yeah, I give this maybe like a 9 out of 10 as far as beginner starter set boxes go. This is definitely a little more pricey, but what you get inside is more than enough to get you started in the game. It also should, hopefully, with an idea of looking at this in a level 1 to 2 adventure, which is good because it's something that you can play and probably play in about an hour's time, which hopefully will give you enough of an idea if you want to continue playing. I know, like, example, the Dungeons and Dragons based starter sets are like basically a mini campaign for levels 1 to 5 in some instances. So you'll be in it for a while. This is like a 1 hour quick start, essentially. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Let me know if there are other box sets specifically or starter sets you'd like to see me cover in the future. If there's an interest, perhaps I'll also see if I can get people together to play the intro adventures contained within this starter set to kind of see how that works, in a real world scenario standing up against players. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.